Hola, amazing friends. I'm Brandi Amara Skyy, and I am a wild dream coach, author, and Indigenous witch. I help folks like you do things that feel or quote unquote are impossible so you can live your wild dream life. And one of the things, so I got a wild, creative, energetic hair up my energy field. And this past weekend, I decided to create for myself a journal that would guide and walk me through not just this eclipse that is happening, but all the eclipses. Something that was versatile enough that I could carry with me and journey with me into each of the eclipses beginning now and forevermore. And it ended up being so beautiful because I am who I am and everything I do is so super extra that I didn't want to just keep it to myself. I wanted to share it with all of y'all. And I also didn't want to add any kind of monetary figure to it. I really wanted it to be a gift from me to you. And so in this video, I'm going to walk you through the journal itself and kind of give you some tips and tricks to working with it and kind of a peep into how I'm going to be working with it. And then I will also be filming and recording my journey with it over this next eclipse and sharing it with you as kind of like a behind the scenes video so you can really get a full 360 like panoramic view of how I work with and use journals to really transform my life. I believe journaling is such an accessible tool for all of us to radically and long-lastingly change our life if we bring that kind of intentionality to it and we bring that kind of spell cast into it. And so my hope is that you begin with this journal. It's really, really beautiful. I love it, but it's also really full of potent medicine inside to help you align your life and attune it with the cosmos, but also see how all of it reflects you, is reflective of you, but also a way in which you can foretell, I don't want to say the future, but you can move into who your highest self, who you envision your future you being. This is a way and a journal to help you call and cultivate that in with the energy of the eclipse. So I'm going to flip the script, i.e. flip the video, and show you what the journal looks like and talk you through it. Enjoy mi gente. All right, beautiful people. Here is the Eclipse Journal, and I am really excited to walk you through what I was envisioning when I created this journal for myself. And as always, I always love what I love about aesthetics and why I have to make sure for me personally that everything is aesthetically pleasing is because one, I won't use it if I don't find it visually appealing. I am an artist. I am a creative. I like to be surrounded by things that are aesthetically pleasing. And I use aesthetic versus beautiful because there is some standards attached to beautiful versus aesthetics, which is really kind of linked to art, artistry, composition, and really focuses on the individual versus something that has been standardized by modern society. And so I'm really, one of my core values is aesthetics. And I know that if I love it, my people love it and want it too, because we all want to be surrounded by beautiful things. And so everything that I create is mono made. There is no AI, and it all comes from a point of infusing the arts with medicine. And so that is what I've done here for the cover. I'm going to leave it to you for your interpretation because I don't like to add my interpretation onto it for you. I really want you to feel into what this calls forth for you. This is a part of the Wild Dream Journal Club, a membership that I'm so excited to be starting later on this month, where we'll have monthly journal drops, planners. It'll be like journals, planners, and deluxe fun packs, because I was, as a teenager and kid, obsessed with like deluxe fun packs that came with like coloring books and like art stuff and then stickers. And so I really wanted to recreate this. And each journal, planner, and deluxe fun pack is all in service and has been created to serve you and your transformation to become who you are meant to be, to live your wild dream life. And this right here is a beautiful place to begin that journey with this Eclipse Journal. And so here I talk a little bit about this journal. I go into, the why behind it. And then a few of the benefits that I know that I'm going to feel and that you will probably feel as you work through this journal. I always like to give this as a little checkpoint so you can feel into where you're at and see and kind of refer back to if any of these things have been shifting for you. And then, because I don't ever want to just like give you a journal and like throw you to the wolves, although I know you, I, we, us would come back leading the pack. I don't ever want you to feel like you're out without like a safety net. So I always open up every journal here, even in the Woke Magic Grimoire and everything that I create for the Wild Dream Journal Club, with a how to work with this journal. This is the way that I envision it. It's an invitation for those who just want to grab it and go and know how to work with it. If you are, like me, I like to get a journal, feel into it, kind of like flip through it first, get a feel for its vibe, and then decide what it is, after feeling into it, how I want to work with it. Do you, boo? Like, do what feels good to you. This is here if you just want to jump right into it and start working with it. Here we have, this is the part, well, all of it's going to change really, but this is where you're going to create a snapshot of what this current eclipse is. And so you can begin with Monday's solar eclipse. And if you're listening to this in a different time, because this is going to be an evergreen, I create it to be an evergreen journal. This is really whenever your next eclipse is, you are going to use this information. You are going to fill in the blanks. So you're going to write down what kind of eclipse this is, which means where is the sun in position to the moon and the earth? Like what is happening in the cosmos? This is really, for me, important because it's so easy to deify what's happening in the cosmos and forget that these are living, breathing planets. These are really living, breathing things that are creating a relationship with each other. And how and what that relationship is so, so important, as is remembering that these are living, breathing things, right? Not just something that is just up there for us to take for granted. And so by drawing down and really feeling into where are the exact placements, we really begin to create that relationship with them and really begin to understand how everything is interrelated. And so from there, you're going to write down this eclipse is in what sign. Currently, this one is happening the last one was in Libra. This one is in Aries. And it has this eclipse happen in this sign already, meaning there are usually pairs of eclipses, sometimes more. And so has this eclipse already happened? You can do a quick Google search, write yes or no, and then keep track of the dates that it occurs, because this journal is built to be a companion for all the times that the eclipse happens in this particular sign. So I really want you to use this as a map and as a way to map out what is happening for you energetically over the course of the eclipse. And then again, what's going on with your life? Take a snapshot. What is happening in your life now? what future dates, right? So if this is the first one in a pair, or if this is a second one in a 3, write down the future dates that it's going to occur. So that way you already know, it's a quick reference. You can go, okay, it's occurring here, and I know that I need to return to this journal. And then, this is what was going on in my life then. So the last time that it occurred, and then this is what's happening in your life for the next one. Okay, because the rest of the journal is about what's happening in your life now. So this is what happened in your life in the past eclipse that occurred in that time. This is what you're going to return and fill out if there's another eclipse happening at a future date. We have a little bit more here to go into detail in where the sign sits and what house. This is really going to tell you what aspect of your life the energy is happening in. And then you'll write down the area of your life here, and then just kind of take some time to really feel into what questions, curiosity, and visions do you have for this aspect of your life. And then what I really want you to do, and this is where the medicine really, really is what is your wild dream for this area of your life, right? Like, what is the wildest, most impossible dream that you can dream for this particular area of your life? And you will find this in your natal chart, and I will link to a YouTube video on how to find your natal chart if you haven't had it. But for instance, Aries, this next eclipse, I'm just going to use that as an example. This next eclipse is happening for me in my 9th house of career, and what is it that I know? And so here I'm going to write down, like, what is this, my wildest, dream, impossible dream that I have for this area of my life. And so I want you to look at your birth chart and do the same thing for you. And now we get into the actual journal part that you're going to be journaling, that you're going to be working with during the eclipse. So the way that this journal is laid out is that you work with this journal. The day 1 is the day before the eclipse. I'm just going to fast forward. Day 2 is the day of the eclipse. And then day 3 is the day after the eclipse. So it's really meant to be a 3-day journal and to really help you, again, create a snapshot of what's happening in your life. So day 1 is you're going to do the day before the actual eclipse. And so you have some journal entries to really kind of, again, help you create like a snapshot of what you're feeling, what your energy levels are, what you're noticing about this area in your life, and then keeping a record of what kind of magical, curious and synchronistic things happen that day, right? And so we have a place that we can return to so we can see not just what's happening in our life, but to show ourselves as proof that magic, that medicine, that the universe, divine, all of it's real, and all of it communicates with us in very subtle and nuanced ways. This is a way that you're going to begin to start building proof for yourself that you are magical, because you are, but because we are human, we feel like we need proof. And so this is how we're going to start establishing proof for yourself that you are a fucking amazing, magical human being. And then notes, because I'm really big on writing, I'm really big on reflecting. And so I always like to have extra notes. And so when I printed this off, I printed off like a couple extra pages of this. And I did front and back because I needed and wanted a lot of extra space. And so then we're moving into day 2, the day of the actual eclipse. And then, excuse me, same thing here, but I've broken down the second day into an AM, kind of like an afternoon, evening, and then a PM reflection. The first thing that I feel like is so important that we often miss is, how did we sleep the night before, right? Like, what was our rest like? What were our dreams like? Like, what was that nepantla, the space between days? What filled that? Because that is going to give us so much information and so much, ingredients for us to feel into what potentially this eclipse has in store for us. And then again, how are you feeling? How are your energy levels? Because this kind of cosmos events affects everyone differently. Some people are going to feel wildly elated. Some people are going to feel drained. I have been feeling drained for like the last week, but that has been my energy pattern up until now. The day of the eclipse might be completely different, but the only way that I'm going to know that is if I track it. And so you're going to write down how you're feeling, your energy levels, and then what I feel is the most important is, how is your heart? Like, how is your innermost soul, heart, being? Like, at your core, how are you doing? How is your heart? And then during the eclipse, I created something because for me and my lineage, we really don't look at stare at the eclipse or use it as a time to work with magic. I am, of course, I like to go outside and look at it just because I want to have that experience, but I don't spend a whole lot of time out in it. But I wanted something to do where I could really reflect about it. And so this question is such a beautiful one to deep dive into as the eclipse is happening, right? So instead of videoing it on your phone, instead of taking a picture, the best kind of way that you can remember this moment is by seeing and looking and turning that mirror on yourself. And so do both and, right? Be a human, enjoy it, take photos, take videos, post them on Instagram. But even more importantly, I want you to invite this kind of reflection into this once in a quote unquote lifetime kind of moment, right? Live it up, have fun, be with friends, but then take a moment for yourself, because that is the shit that is going to imprint you moving forward. Then observations, print this out, carry it with you the day of the eclipse, and just notice what's happening in the world, what's happening in the news, what's happening in your local town. Like currently I live in Wimberley, Texas, and they're expecting 50,000 people in this town of like 3,000 people. And so what's happening in your environment, right? What's happening in nature? Like, take a moment to really notice, and again, write it down so you can have it to refer back to. And then at the end of the day, I would love, and invite you to take some time to look and span over the whole day, what happened in your life, what happened in the world, and how did this eclipse show up in the area of your chart that the sign is in. Again, I'm going to be doing this and sharing it with you kind of a behind the scenes on my YouTube channel. So you'll have this as an example to use moving forward as well. And then post-eclipse reflections, end of day, like before you go to bed, while you're still in it. Like, I really want to encourage you to do this while you're still in the thick and the energy of it. What are the things that you want to remember about today? Right? Like, what are the 1 to 5 things that you're like, this moment right here, I want to remember this all here. And it doesn't have to be big. Like, I don't want you to think like, oh my God, like this has to be a list of big things that happen. No, like maybe today you really noticed how your shadow looked. Was there a shadow? Right? Because the sun is being blotted out. Like, what were the things that you really want to remember? Maybe it was a feeling, right? Maybe you got a sense of like radical connection to yourself, to the land, to the planets, the cosmos, to your partner, to your fur baby, whatever it is. Big or small, take a moment to write down the things that you want to remember. Again, more notes pages, because I love me a good note and reflection. Day 3, this is the day after the eclipse, and we're still looking at the same things. How did we sleep last night? We want to create like a energetic map of what is happening for us in our energy field the day before, the day of, and the day after. What did you dream about? Same things. Maybe as you move and use this journal in the next eclipse, maybe you see a connection. Maybe there's a pattern. Maybe a certain animal shows up in your dreams over and over again. But we won't know unless we track it. And so again, we're looking into the same things, but in that moment right now. How are you feeling? How is your heart? And then now that we've taken a step back, right? We're no longer in the actual eclipse. We can take a step back and really kind of look at the entire kind of like day of, day before, and we can ask ourselves, what did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about your energy? And what did you learn about the world and others, right? Taking a moment to really kind of feel into what are these things that you learn, because then what's going to be really interesting is when you use this journal, the next eclipse and the ones thereafter, you're going to have like this beautiful page of these medicine moments for you, right? These moments of transformative medicine that you can carry forward and say, okay, these are the things that I've learned. This is how I'm going to choose to embody it in my life. And this is what I want more of. Right. And you can even use those as extra journal prompts and write it in the notes section right here. And then because I love a good magic and I'm going to be doing this tarot spread for myself. I'm like, I should share it with all of y'all. I love me a good tarot moment. And so this is a tarot spread that I created based on the sun, the moon, and the world cards. You're going to pull that using 2 decks. You're going to pull this out of one deck, put them in this place. You're going to then shuffle and follow these directions and ask yourself as you shuffling these questions, and then lay it out in whatever particular, if you want to do a curve, if you want to do a line, whatever like pattern you feel called to, just knowing that this is card 1, card 2, and card 3. And then of course, notes, because I like notes. And finally, I always like to wrap up any kind of journey, whether it's one day, whether it's 3 days, whether it's a self-study of a full year, with a final reflection, right? And so this right here, this final reflection is you looking back over everything, right? Over day 3, the day of, day 1, and then the current eclipse sheet. It's looking over everything, right? To answer these questions. Because what this is even if you lost, say, what you wrote down here, because you have this final reflection, you have these top 2-3 things to refer back to. You will always know what it is that you want to remember, the magical things that happen, the things that you learn, the medicine, the things you want to move forward with. This you could print off and like keep in your grimoire. I'm going to print this off and keep all of it in my Spring Woke Magic grimoire. But even if you just printed out this and pasted it in the back of your grimoire, you will know exactly what happened in this eclipse just by answering these questions. And then because I am a Capricorn sun and I want to know how the esoteric lands in real life, how are you going to implement what you've learned into your life? This is where the transformation happens, right? Recording and journaling and reflecting is one thing, right? But it doesn't have the same potency and power until you actually implement and embody it and practice it in your life. So please, 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 please answer this question. And then pick one and do one today. Do one tomorrow. Put it in your calendar to do it in this next week. And then, because again, I love journaling, I love reflecting, I've added in some bonus prompts that you can ask at any point in the eclipse, even after. But I just wanted you to have this. They will also make really good tarot questions as well. But I wanted you to have these because it's always good to be and walk with the question every day. Again, notes. What's next? If you really love this journal and you love like the style of like journal and then tutorial, I'm opening up the doors to the Wild Dream Journal Club, April 2024. And I'm really, really excited about it. You can get it on the beta for $9 a month. It's going to be $13 a month because 13 is a magic and transformational number. And that is exactly what each and every journal planner and deluxe fun pack in the Wild Dream Journal Club is going to do for you. And you'll have, videos, tutorials like this. And so take a peep at that. And then a little bit about me, because it's good to know who this person is that has created this magical tool that you are using. So I hope that you have found this journal super, super helpful. I hope that it serves you in multidimensional ways. I hope that it is something that you will return to again and again. I love, love, love things that can move from one point of my life into another, that are created to help me circle back to certain moments in my life, so that I am always reminded that time is cyclical. Nothing is linear, and that I'm always, always, always in a constant state of evolution, as are you, my friends. So enjoy the journal. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you absolutely love and will use and work with this journal. I have linked it in the description box below. It is 100% free. There's no catch. Please, please, please download it and then return to this video to help kind of walk you through it. And I also want to invite you to share the tarot spread. Like what came up for you? Throw it in the comments below. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really love making these things for you. And the more that you can physically support me and the likes and the subscribing, the more that I can continue to do this for free, because that's really where my heart is. And so please like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know how the eclipse is going and what eclipse you're using this journal in. And I will be back later on this weekend with some behind the scenes into how I am working with this journal. Until next time, in Lakesh.